Hi folks. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. How's it going? Hopefully it's going well. I'm good too, thank you for asking. I'm going to be doing some more VSCode extension development this evening. I'm a bit more prepared this time actually, or a bit more organised at least. I've got some tasks that I've made myself beforehand. One of those tasks might be to evict the dog from the room if he starts making too much noise, but we'll see. Yeah, so I've made a little GitHub project and added some things that we need to do. So I've just got a little cleanup here for removing this call, which is no longer needed. I should do a recap, really, shouldn't I? Where did we get to last time? Previously on the stream. How do I run the run the extension? I think we got it working to a point where it would display the tree, and that was about it. Like the names of the items. Let's have a look. Okay, I need to run the code base, right? That's something that we need to fix because the code base URL is not currently configurable, so that's something we're definitely going to need to fix. Is that in API? Yeah. So let's swap it out to the one that's running now. And we will try running the extension. Hey Demo, hey Alex. Yeah. I love errors. I mean, why is it not working? Oh, is the port different? No. It exists. So this is new. Oh, this is from Markdown Notes. Maybe this isn't my error. That would be nice. Oh my god, it wasn't my error. Why does that show up in my debug console? That's janky AF. Anyway, yeah, so this is where we got to last time. Hopefully you can see this okay. From a hard-coded API route, we can see the whole code base. One thing I did notice after the stream last week is that it's not terribly well sorted. So for example, we've got these two terms up here, and then we've just got like a random one down here. So we may want to do some sorting there. Yeah. I don't know what it is about developing extensions. Like this, most of it's like really nice. Like it's so nice that you can just bootstrap this project and then get like a debugger running. That's really cool. But then like how you can't see network requests, which are like just nuts. Let's open the UI just to understand what I was talking about. I need to add a ticket for this really. In base, like, oh, that happens in base in the UI too. Okay. Then maybe we don't care about it. I just thought it would be nice to have the groups of terms at the same level together. Maybe we can improve on the UI in that respect. I'll just add a quick note for that. Move it to the bottom. Okay, so first things first is we are going to do this ticket, just a bit of cleanup. So register tree data provider. I saw in the docs that you only need to do one of these. So you only need to register the tree data provider or create the tree view. Doing both. I don't know how it works doing both, but we should be able to just remove this disposable. So the difference is one gives a disposable, which is something you could just dispose of. The other one returns a tree view, which you can then do things on imperatively, like reveal it or read the visible property or set the title. And we're going to need to do that, I think, from looking ahead. So I think we can just remove this. I mean, it's nice. I feel like we want to dispose it still, right? So maybe what is a disposable? Maybe we still need to dispose of it. So disposable is a class with a dispose method. I guess let's try and just pass tree view dispose there. So I think dispose cleans up the extension after you close it or remove it or something. So tree view. Okay, that seems to be enough. Yeah, so subscription is just an object with a dispose function. So let's see if that works. It does work. I don't know why there's two, by the way. There just is two ways to instantiate a tree view. Let's open a PR. Remove extra tree view creation. I mean, it's actually pretty pointless to open a PR, right? Because nobody's going to review it. Maybe I should just commit this to master. Yeah, let's commit it to master. Or main. Remove extra tree view call. creation call. Okay. We'll move it to done. See, this is the one. This is why I created the project, because now I get the nice dopamine hit of moving things to done when I complete them. Could you just push tree view to context subscriptions? Yeah, I can push tree view to context subscriptions because it has a dispose method, right? It is disposable. Thank you, Tim. You're gonna get a shout out in the commit message. If I'd have opened a PR, we wouldn't have need 2 commits there, because Tim would have come in and reviewed it for us. Maybe I should squash. No, not doing it. Can't be bothered. Okay. What should we do next? I don't remember if I ordered these in some sensible order or not. What should we do? We could add the icons. I think it might be best to add the configuration, because that's going to be annoying to keep having to change the code to configure the URL. So let's do that. It's in progress. So I left myself a note here. There's this way to add a welcome content to a tree view. And that can dispatch a command. And so that command, we're going to have, I guess, save some state or something, which is going to be our API route. We're going to need to change our API functions to accept a route. Maybe we'll wrap it in like a client or something, like a create API function. And we're going to need to figure out how to add a command, I think. So I guess we can call it configure Unison code base or something. But we need to like add a... Oh, we can just copy this. Unison UI configure code base. I guess that could be an activation event too. Maybe that should be the only activation event, right? Until we get persistence of this, I guess maybe that should be the case. Because otherwise you'll just activate the extension. No. We want to activate it because we want to see this view. But how do we say that the view exists? Can contain a when clause. This is complicated. Let's just make it and see what happens. Configure ECM codebase. Now we need to register a command, right, in our extension. So how do we do that? Is it in this example? Oh my gosh. Oh, this is a real extension. So this is going to be advanced. They've got some classes with, they're doing some inversion of control stuff here, aren't they? Where they register these classes with a run method. I don't really want to do that. Maybe we'll just look at the docs instead. So we can execute a command. That's not what we want to do. We want to call back for when that command is executed. Yes, that's what I want to do. So, for now, I guess we can register a command. What was it called? What was it called? Configure code base, like give it the Unison UI dot. Yes, I do give it the namespace at the beginning. Register that command. And how do we we need like an input box. Which is that what's going on here? No, that's the title. Is there some options we can pass? Let's just see what happens. We'll copy their example. So it takes a name, and then it logs the name. Is our command in here? No. Oh, it is. I called it UCM. Didn't do anything. Well, it logged, so it did do something. But we want some other type of command. A command which gives us a menu box or something. Some sort of input. VSCode extension get user input. There's a show input box. Whoa, okay. This is a big document. Show input box exists on window. Okay, some options. Password. No. Prompt. Wait, what was prompt? The text to display underneath the input box. I guess that's where we put the question, right? So this is going to be UCM URL. What's the difference between prompt and title? Let's add title in there as well. And then what is their placeholder? And then this returns a promise. Yeah. The Unison URL. Async. So we can await that, and that's going to give us the URL. The user enters, and then we can. Oh, let's log. Refresh. So so the title goes up here. So I guess we should put maybe. Enter UCM URL. Placeholder, I don't think we need. And then, I mean, that's confusing. Is this just, are you supposed to use one or the other? Do we have a command which is kind of the same thing? Create a new file? No. This is how I do all user experience design. I just copy. Bobby! What's up, mate? That's the dog. For those of you that weren't here last week. The dog is craving attention. May have to move him out of the room. Okay, so there's this, I guess I have a command set up which is if anybody knows any commands which are kind of the same thing, that would be, oh, I know, color theme. It's not quite the same because there's a list of options. Let's just choose one. Let's just put it in the title. It doesn't matter, does it? Enter UCM URL. Okay, so that gives us the URL. So, off the back of that URL, we need to create some API client that we can then register our tree view into. Remote debugger. I don't have... What do you mean? Or open link? Okay, so the... Are you okay, mate? Let me just put the dog out of the room. 2 seconds. Come on. Come on. Oh my god. Come on. Out you get. Good boy. We're back. He gets like this at around this time because he knows Emily's coming home soon, which excites him, and he knows he's getting fed soon. He does love a good sitting. Yeah, so we need to create... Okay, first things first. Let's make the API parameterized over the API root. So this isn't hard-coded. So let's have a function called create API client. Do we want to give this types, or do we want to just infer the return type of an API client? Let's infer it. Why not? Okay, so it takes in the... it doesn't take in a name. I don't know why I wrote that. It takes in an API root that returns a object which has our API functions in. So here's list. It's going to be an arrow function, and it's going to be async, is it? No, it doesn't need to be async. We're not using await. And so now we don't have a hard-coded API root, which is nice. However, our tree view can now no longer do API calls because we're not exporting the API function anymore. We need a way to tell TreeView to create an API client or inject an API client into TreeView somehow. How about we have a TreeView constructor which accepts a... What are the arguments for a TreeView data provider? Maybe it doesn't need any arguments. Doesn't right now, and there's no constructor in that interface. So, this is going to be when we need to have a type for our API client. So I guess we need to define it. So let's do that. Interface API client has a method called list, which takes a namespace string and returns a promise of namespace listing. And then we're going to say that we return that so that we make sure that they're in sync, like what we return from this function is in sync with this interface. And we can export that and accept that as a parameter of our codebase provider. And let's make this private read-only. And now we can just pop that into this .api client.list, which solves the error. But now we need a way to pass it in, right? So I wonder if we can create the tree view inside of the command handler. I wonder what will happen. I guess... So that's going to register the tree view, but not when the extension starts. Is that okay? I think we have to find out, because I don't know. Okay, so let's extract this out down here. I'm going to call it configure codebase command. It's going to be async, so we can get our URL. Or we should put it inside of activate so that we can push it onto our context from inside of here. So let's move this into here, create our API client, pass in our Unison URL. It's undefined. Okay, so we need a way of displaying an error when it's undefined. I've seen in extensions, I've seen them come up down here. I guess it can be undefined where you just press enter and there's no, you haven't inputted any like text. And maybe in the future we can validate the URL and also maybe be a bit more lenient. For example, if someone may just copy and paste this UI link and maybe you want to swap that to an API, because that's the API route. But for now we can just display an error if they don't put anything in. So how do we do that? I imagine it's going to be on window. That's what I'm guessing. Show error message. Love that. So if Unison URL equals undefined, we want to show an error message and then return, do nothing. And the error message is going to say, please enter a UCM URL. Okay, well we've got a valid API client. We can pass that into Codebase provider. Push it onto our context, and then that's our command handled. Whoa, didn't mean to do that. So let's pass that as the handler. Is it going to work? Something tells me it's not going to work. Okay, so this view is empty, and maybe once we put our welcome content in, that won't be empty anymore. Let's configure our code base. It's going to be this with API instead of UI on the end. Please enter it. Oh, it's there. What? Why was I expecting something different to happen? Wait, hang on. Can you make it required? I don't think I can make it required because a user can always press escape, I guess, or like go back when they try to enter a command. So that's why VSCode is returning string undefined. I could tell TypeScript that I'm pretty sure it's going to be a string, but I think at some point someone's going to accidentally press escape or enter. Validate input callback. So that would be, do you mean in the input box? An optional function that will be called to validate input and to give a hint to the user. I think I could do that to validate the URL. I don't think it's going to stop Unison URL from being undefined though. So like so what do I do with this? I can return a string or a promise of a string. So I just return wrong. So Unison URL is still undefined, but let's just see what happens. Oh, okay. So that doesn't actually let me submit it. But if I press escape, it's like that's when Unison URL is undefined. So I think it helps us if we want to, if we wanted to validate the URL is correct, that they haven't put in junk, that we can't use a valid URL. But I don't want to do that right now. We can do that later. Hello, I see you. Need that red recording light. That's what. Yeah. So what was I doing? I was checking, seeing what happens. So this view is open. I enter the. Oh, I need to refresh. Okay, so yeah, Unison Codebase is open. We enter in our URL. Oh, it just works. That's like magic, man. What? It just works. Amazing. Okay. So we can configure the code base. What happens if we configure the code base twice in a row? So I would expect it to what? Well, what do we want to happen if we've got a already configured code base? Do we actually want to have this command do anything? I guess we want to dispose of the tree view and then recreate a new one. Maybe that's an edge case we don't care about right now. Let's try and implement something. I think we can, because we push our tree view onto the subscriptions, we could loop through our subscriptions and see if there's an item in there which is an instance of our tree view. And if it is, we can dispose of it and then recreate it. And I guess we need to do that after we have entered our input. So let's do that. So let's do if what is it? Context.subscriptions dot sum subscription, call it sub. So sub instance of codebase provider. So if there is an instance of codebase provider in our subscriptions, we want to dispose. Okay, so let's find it instead of doing sum. So let's find the first instance of codebase provider. Found. Let's call it found codebase provider. And so this returns a disposable or undefined. So if we do have a found codebase provider, we can dispose of it. And then we will recreate another one. Let's see if it works. So I guess I'm expecting... let's copy that URL again. I'm expecting it to kind of like disappear and then reappear maybe. Let's see. So we enter it in. It appears. Nice. We enter it in again. I assume something happened. Let's maybe open up some state. Oops. I mean, maybe it's just working. Maybe that it's doing smart things to figure out the open state. Sure. Let's go with that. Ignorance is bliss. Anyway, that's cool. That works. I guess we just need to add our welcome content. This is the wrong documentation. Here we are. Some welcome content. Let's copy this. Maybe, that's a good point. Yeah. Ignorance is bliss, but we should check. So, yeah, let's validate that we do actually find a codebase provider at least. I think you're right, actually. It's not an instance because we push a created tree view. Like, it's this, whatever returns from this this function. Alternatively, maybe VSCode is disposing it for us if we replace the tree view. I doubt it, though. I doubt it. Let's check. Where's my URL gone? Okay. Yeah, so it's logging undefined. I've got another login here for some reason. Need to get rid of that. Yeah, it's logging undefined. So, thanks again, Tim. This isn't finding, and so it's never disposing. Not ideal. I would prefer to be ignorant. Might be the key code base. I think whatever we change this key to is going to be returning an instance of TreeView. And so I guess we could check that, but like the API isn't typed that way. It's just typed as subscriptions are just some array of objects with a dispose function. No worries, Tim. No, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I do. I just don't like doing work. Why am I doing this stream, you know, if I don't want to do it properly? Oh, I see. So this is like you mean this is like a key, Alex? It is an ID. That's a very good point. So if you instantiate something with the same ID, it's just replaced, all the states preserved. Sure. I like that. And I'm not going to dig into it any further. Let's go with that. Okay, let's add the welcome content now. View is called, what is it called? Unison? Codebase. So let's just have the button, which is called configure codebase. And that's going to be our command, which is Unison UI configure codebase. Whoa, it works. That is amazing. That's truly a technological marvel, really, isn't it? Like, I haven't really written much code and it just all kind of slots together so nicely. Cool. I think we can call that done, to be honest. So, what have we done? We have added support, UCM, URL, configuration. Let's call it basic because we're not too helpful. We don't do any error handling or anything. We just assume it's correct. I think that's okay for now. And it's done. Okay, what's next? Let's move it to its own sidebar view. That would be nice. So I don't think it makes sense to have, let me run it again. I don't think it makes sense to have it in the Explorer because it's kind of its own thing. And it's usually going to be quite long and nested, so it needs all the space it can get, I think. So I think I want to add it as a thing over here. Is it okay? This is called activity bar, apparently. Oh god. Can I get that back? Okay. is back. So yeah, so I want a new item. We're going to need to find the icon, I guess. That'll be fun. Alright, let's see how to do it first. Okay, so VSCode activity, VSCode extension, activity bar. Oh, did anybody else get this? Dark mode in Google? This honestly made my day. How nice is that? Do we have to make an icon? Should we make an icon? Or, I mean, we could draw one in like MS Paint or something. I was just going to steal this one. Maybe it'll be quite cute if we drew one, I guess. It'd be terrible. I think I might just steal it, to be honest. Extending workbench. Tree view container, I think, is what we want. Yeah, so it just came up when I was doing a Google search earlier. It's annoying that the new tab page is still in light mode. But it just showed up at the top. It was like, do you want to enable dark mode? I was like, hell yeah, give me dark mode. Yeah, I don't think anybody really... I would literally cry if I had to draw an icon. It would be so bad. So bad. Stick to code, I think. Turn the light on, let's get a bit dark. Okay, tree view container. So we want to contribute a view container. Okay. This is exactly what I need. Copy and paste. I don't know how to break this to you, Dom, but I think Bob Ross is dead. Don't think that's going to be possible to get him on stream, unfortunately. Sad. Code the SVG points by hand. No, thank you. Oh no, this SVG has the bloody text in it too. Is that how long it's 1995? Wow. Wow. Rest in peace. I really don't know where I'm going to get this icon from, because this SVG has the Unison. It's like a logo type. I don't want a logo type. I want this little favicon up here. I mean, for now, let's just look in here. Is it in here? No. I guess I could ask them on Slack, but they're not going to reply. Oh, they are quite responsive, actually. Let's see if let's ask them. This is full stack software development, folks. Pestering open source maintainers is one of my key values. You have one? You got an SVG, Alex? Yes, please, if you've got one. Are you sending it? Did you Google Unison web logo by any chance? This exists. I don't think I can... I guess I do want a PNG, but I'd have to somehow do the alpha channel thing, and I don't have any image software, although maybe one exists online. Does it have to be an SVG? Let's start there. Path to the container icon. Icons are 24 by 24 centered on a 50 by 40 block and have a fill color of RGB. It is recommended that icons be an SVG, though any image file type is accepted. Let's just have this PNG for now. It's going to look absolutely horrendous, but we can figure it out later. What do I need? I think what I need is... Hang on. Literally, I've gotten rid of the view where it's gonna show. So this is the icons we're going to create. I think I want a an SVG that is just plain background and then white path. Or if it's a PNG, I just need this with... Oh, this is a PNG. I can crop this. Alex has sent me something. Oh my, I'm going to paste this right directly into VS Code, and if this is some sort of prank, I'm going to be cross. Okay. Oh. Let's have a look in Chrome. Oh, what? This is 6 dots. I don't have I done something wrong? Is this what we expect to see? Windows. The square is white. Okay. Let's go for it. Let's just see what it looks like. Wait, I thought this was the logo. I'm very confused. What? Oh, this is what we're looking at, right? This thing here is what you've sent me. I was expecting... I thought this was the logo. It really doesn't matter, right? This is... But... I just need... I think this is fine for now. Let's just see what it looks like. Where is it? Oh, does this need to be my... I don't know why it's not showing up now. So other than the logo being strange, it's nothing is displaying. So maybe we need to match an ID or something. Let's see. Contribute view container in the custom views. I mean, let's just call it Unison, and then we'll call it Unison. Dom has sent me something. Oh my god, love that. Thank you, Dom. Unison black, Unison white. But why is the view not showing? Do we need extra code? Maybe we need to say that our view exists in Unison, maybe because there's no like view inside the view container. That's why it doesn't show up. Yes. Oh, that's quite nice. I mean, it's not the right logo, but at least it's something. Let's try one of the ones that Dom sent us. So let's try Unison white. That just doesn't work at all. Let's try the black one, just in case. Nope, nothing. We'll go for the I'm doing SVG. I'm a dum-dum. It's a PNG. I think that's the one. I think we got it. It's very smart to figure out that. I guess it's doing some fancy CSS or something to like fill it in the correct color. Yeah, thanks, Dom. That will do very nicely. Move those to trash. Rename this Unison logo. Whoops. And rename this Unison logo. Okay. And now, check it works. Love that. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. We can call that done, I think. Add custom activity bar container. Another item checked off the list. Where is it? There it is. Bam. Okay. Maybe we'll round out the stream by doing some code. I don't want to do the icons right now. This is probably going to take some time. This IOTS thing, we'll come back to that next week. Let's add a refresh. That sounds fun. This is actually quite a complicated problem, I think. If we look at the UI, a Unison code base can change, right? We can add definitions. We could change a definition. So the data on disk could change while we're in VS Code, for example. I don't think there are any hooks we can use to hook into when it changes, but we can add a refresh button that could refresh the view for us, and it's equivalent, I guess, to refreshing the browser. Let's just check that they're not doing any fancy WebSockets or polling, and in which case we want to re-implement that. I think though it's literally just it's static. Yeah. Yeah, I think we need the refresh button, so to kind of re-implement the UI. I think there are fancier things we can do. For example, we could refetch only only one namespace. Although I'm not sure what benefits that gives you, apart from like less bandwidth to your local host. I guess if your Unison code base is remote, maybe. Which is something the UI doesn't offer. Like you have to refresh the whole web page, which gives you all of the namespaces from the root. But we'd then have to handle what if the namespace has been deleted. Which would be annoying. I think maybe if we just add one big refresh button at the top for now, that would be okay. What else could we do? How else could we implement refresh? Ideally, I want an API to exist. A Unison API. Where is that? Come on. Where is it? Some API in here to tell me what's changed since I last requested, or some WebSocket thing or something. And maybe, like, this is all early days, this API, so maybe that will be there in the future. But I don't think we can really do anything else apart from refresh the whole tree view. Who knows what's going to happen to you? Open states, collapse states and stuff. Maybe it'll be really smart and figure that out for us, but yeah, let's see what happens, I guess. So let's see where we can add little icons. So I think in the headline, because Unison doesn't have files, it only has those Scratch files. Any changes to the code base happen like a query to a database, like a persist query will persist some code to the database, and that could be from a file on your system, or in the future. Like the idea is that persist query would actually come from another node in your distributed system, so another computer will tell you to persist some code, and then probably run it straight afterwards. So I'm thinking it's going to have to be a refresh button here. Like the database does exist on disk, and so we could watch for changes. It's a SQLite database. We could watch for changes on that database, like file changes. That seems a bit like we're kind of observing implementation details at that point. And I'm not sure how often it changes. Yeah. So let's add it to the headline for now, I think. Just one up here, like this. One of these. This is exactly what I want. This little refresh button here. How do we do that? Is that part of the tree view, or is that part of the container? I think it's part of the container. Where's that docs? Extending workbench. Is it part of the container? I mean, it could be part of the tree view if we wanted it to. Let's add it to the container if we can. So I think there's some nice autocomplete on here. So maybe we're gonna just get it. There is no autocomplete. Fine, they've just got hover text. So we can give it an icon for a container. That's something we've already done. Would it ever make sense to have multiple UCMs? Yes, I think that is a valid use case. Although I'm not sure why you would do that on one machine. And I don't think you'd ever do it in development. But there must be a reason, right? That when you do UCM, you get a new ID every time. Maybe that's just implementation, easy implementation. I guess I see where you're going though, that maybe there'd be, you would have multiple code bases that you want to refresh just one of them. I mean, I think we're going to have to go down the route of adding it to the tree view because I can't see the docs for adding it to the container. VSCode extension. Add refresh button to container. To view. Oh. This is just like impossible to Google for. Where's that guide? Extending workbench. This doesn't tell me. Maybe it's in the tree view topic. Does it give an example? Here's the view container. View actions. Oh, okay. This is what we want. Location, view title, group navigation. Actions are available as inline icons and individual tree items, tree item context menus, and at the top of your tree view. Okay. This is what we want, right? This is a command, and then we contribute a menu. Let's just copy and paste this and see if we can adapt it. Hailing Will, yeah, please. He's my only hope. Okay. Group navigation. I don't understand how that links to... How does that link to the tree view I want to show on? Because we define a command and some predicate. Maybe this is the view ID here. Let's try. So view title. Not support. Code base. Let's try that. Oh, code base title is not a valid menu identifier. great. So let's just trigger our only command that we have right now. Do you like the music, Dom? That's a shame. I think I've added them up here. Have I? These always been here, maybe. I mean, maybe they'll appear on our view. No. I don't understand. Literally no idea. Is this supposed to be embedded inside of a view container? Like inside of here? That doesn't make any sense. Maybe we need to look at that Git extension. So I can't use a bunch of commands. Oh my god, so many commands. Oh, so we define a menu called command palette, for example, and then aha, so wait, no, I thought I had it then, but I don't. SCM is a view, right? That's got to be a view ID. And then /title. So if our view is either Codebase or Unison, we tried Unison before. Let's try Codebase. No, it's not a valid menu identifier. This is so annoying. RMT? What does that mean? Read more thoroughly? I generally don't know what that stands for. Join us for a live stream where man intensely stares at documentation. Different union. I am literally stuck for words, stuck for ideas. It's just not a very good maybe maybe it's all about the when clause. God damn it is, isn't it? It bloody well is. So we say a view title. We do this command when the view equals codebase. I mean, what an idea to put in to put this in package.json. Why not let me do this in real code? Who am I to judge? Oh, it did something. Genuinely getting a FaceTime call from my mum right now. Let's rock and roll. Decline. I'll call her back later. Okay, so this works. It sits up here. We need to give it an icon somehow. Can we do that? Let's look. Now getting a call from my sister. Let me text them. Stream's more important. Should have had her on stream. So, how do I add an icon? I don't... Okay, maybe we don't care about the icon right now. I guess the important thing is the refresh. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. She's tried to call you twice now. Let's worry about the command, the code. Don't know why we didn't start the code. So we need a way to refresh a tree view. How do we do that? So is that a... Is that a method we can call? Some like event we can trigger? I don't know. That's a tricky one. I think disposing it and then recreating it may be a way to go, but that seems a bit silly. I know there's a way to add a command onto a specific tree view item, and because I just read that earlier. Would you need to do it on the data provider? Yeah, so that's, well, we define an implementation here, right? Let's see what we can define. An optional event to signal that an element or root has changed. It will trigger the view update to update the changed element root and its children recursively. Signal that root has changed, do not pass any arguments. Okay, so we can just call on did change tree data. Is that a... That doesn't exist on a tree view. Okay. I think that sounds like what we want though. Maybe there's an example in the docs. This is not going to give us anything more, is it? No. See, I was expecting there to be a way that we could call it on the tree view itself. But maybe... It wouldn't make sense to call it on the provider because it makes sense to implement it on the provider because that's what we're saying, we implement the data provider interface. But there is no method for it to do anything. Really expected it to be on here. So we've got like change selection, change visibility, change element, expand element. Maybe let's Google VSCode. Anyone online that knows how this works? What's going on here? Interesting. They have an event emitter. And then they call fire. Okay. So maybe I need this. And then maybe I can just call it and it'll work. Who knows? Let's see. We don't want node. We want this tree child. And then they call that .fire. I mean, I don't understand how this would work, but this defines an event. It doesn't. It's not a callback. Oh, there is an example. Thank you, Alex. So I guess we can add a refresh, which just fires that on change tree data. So let's add that. What? What argument? Oh, some data? I thought we could pass undefined. Maybe we have to do or null here. No? I mean, it literally in the example says that we don't need to pass anything in there. Oh, but it does it adds all these on. Okay. So we need to add that there, there, and there. Okay. And so now calling refresh, let's add a new command. Refresh the UCM codebase. Okay. We need to set the menu item as refresh codebase. Okay. And now we need to add a new command. Oh, this is just annoying. I need to reference this codebase provider in another command. So I think we're going to need some mutable state. Or yeah. So we can add our codebase provider up here, which is a starts off as null. It's not ideal, but I think that's what we have to do. We'll just declare it up here. And then async function refresh codebase command. And so what we're going to do in here, we're going to if the codebase provider has been registered, we're going to call refresh on it. Otherwise, we will display an error. Codebase not yet configured. Okay. So if we press this, we get an error. That's nice. Configure the codebase. And now we refresh. It refreshes. I guess we need to add something to check if it works. So let's add a term. I'm gonna have to write some Unison now, which is fun. Let's open. Where did we? Okay. Code, Unison streams. I remember this from last week. Oh. So how do we add a term? Okay. Okay, I can just add them. Add greet. Where is it added it? Who knows? Let's have a look at the... Oh god. Okay, it's just I just added it to the root. Brilliant. Good job. Let's remove that. Is it delete? Nice, we removed delete. Okay, so let's load. Let's do a little test. Let's load the code base in the extension. Got 3 windows open now. It's loaded. Let's refresh. Oh, I restarted it, didn't I? Okay, code base exists. Let's add it in square. So we can cd into square. And now we can add greet ls. Yeah, so now greet exists in square. We'll go back to our extension. And hopefully if I refresh, it should just appear. Oh my gosh. That is insane. That is absolutely insane. That's amazing. I'm astounded. I guess we need to make a little icon instead. But I think for this week, we can call that done, really. I think we've accomplished a lot this week. Thank you so much for all of your help. Thanks, Dom, for the logo. I don't know how you whipped that up so quick. The skills are out of my plane of thought, I think. But yeah, thanks so much for coming. And see you next week. Bye.